Hi everyone, I'm back. Sorry about the mix-ups on the last video, but again, that's what we get for doing it, live. It wasn't really live, but I didn't want to edit it, so I fixed it nice. So now I'm going to cover it with the craft paper, and I measured this out, and you want about an inch overhang. Okay, so I measured out and I needed 7 1/4 and I used 8 1/2, so 7 1/4 by 8 1/2. And I'm going to butt it right up against the edge of the cloth paper. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I use my 3-in-1 beacon glue. It's just what works for me. Whatever glue you want, you can use the tape if you want, but you want something that's sturdy and that's going to really hold this book together, the paper on the book. You see I paid $2.50 for mine at Ocean State Job Lots. Stuff is really expensive in the stores, and Ocean State, I go and buy like 6 bottles at a time when I buy it. It's not very far from here, but just because I don't go out in that direction very often. So as soon as my glue comes down, it's almost there. I can start gluing this. Okay. And you want to be careful that you don't get any glue on your fabric. Okay. So okay, here we go. So I'm going to go right to the edge, starting at the top, and then the side I'm going to do the fabric edge last. I might just take a new bottle of this because I'm really struggling here. Here we go. This glue doesn't make the paper bumpy either, which I like. But, okay. I'm not fiddling with this bottle. My other bottle is empty anyways, and I have bottles right here. So, I'm starting a new bottle. I'm not dealing with this. Cut the end off. And make sure that I use my pokey tool. Cut some more off. There we go. Okay. Sorry. This will come right out of here. Sure it will. Oh man. Remember, I don't edit my videos. Oh gosh. Really? Okay. Here we go. Oh goodness gracious. So I just get that all on there. And now I'm going to go up. Just make it flat near the edge. And I'm probably just going to take my finger and carefully push that right up to the edge, but I don't want to get it on the paper. And I'm going to take a baby wipe and I'm going to wipe my finger so that I am not getting glue on my paper or anywhere else I don't want to. Okay, so You don't want to see my glue right there. I'm going to take this, and again, I'm going to eyeball it as far as top and bottom, but I'm going to make sure that I butt it right up against the edge. Okay? Make sure I seal it down really good right there. And I'm going to open up my book. And I'm just going to make sure it's all attached very well. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other side as my glue spills out. It's so much nicer when you use a new bottle of glue like this. It gets to the end. And that one's old and it hasn't had a cover on it, so I think maybe it got a little thickened and stuff. Alright. So once again, I'm just going to bring it so that it comes flat next to the edge. And then I'm just going to take my finger, get my baby wipe, come right up to the edge without touching the edge. Okay. And then I'm making sure that I'm on my edges over here. And I'm going to put the cover on because wipe my finger again. Alright. So then this one, same thing. Make sure it's about even on both sides. Butt it right up against the edge of that. I don't want it to overlap because I don't want a bump, you know. There we go. Let me get some of these other things out of the way. Okay, don't do that anymore. Alright, so have this. Now what I need to do is miter my corners. Where we are on the camera here. Miter my corners and put tape on here. So the way that there's a lot of different ways to miter your corners. And so, oops, that's what I don't want that to be on the floor. So someone showed me this method and I actually really like it and it works really well for me. So what you do is you draw a line, you even up and you draw a line across, so you're going to have a little rectangle here, or square depending on the size of your paper. And you do the same thing on the top, and then you just go across, same way. Okay, so you have these two little, I looked at my book. See, you have a little square here. Okay, then you take your ruler and you go out just a little bit outside the line on an angle. Just a little bit, not a lot. Okay, and then you do the same thing on the other side. Just a little bit of an angle, not a lot. Okay, same thing here. And the same thing here. So, what I'm going to do is, this one might be a little bit too wide. It's not a huge deal, but I'm going to come in a little closer on that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out from that the angled line just about to the, so I match up to the other one, and do the same thing on the other side. And to me, it gives me the best mitered corner. And of course, when I cut the lines, I don't cut, you'll see, I didn't cut exactly on the line because I want to match those up. Alright, so then you have a cut like this. Oh my goodness, sorry. And it makes, without having a specific tool, or I have a hard time just going, oh yeah, it's like that. I don't know. It's maybe an extra step, but for me, this is what works. Whatever technique works for you to get a good mitered corner is what technique you will use. Okay. Cindy taught me this, and I happen to like it a lot. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make too much of an angle. A little bit of an angle. And then here. And again, it's a guideline for me. I don't necessarily cut exactly on the line, but it gives me a really good guideline, and it makes it so that I don't either cut it too close or too far away from the corner. Okay. It usually works out. Alright, so I got those cut off. Now I'm going to tape my paper. I'm going to use the 1-inch tape. And I'm going to butt it right up against that edge. Right on the edge. Okay. And I'm going to need a second piece, so I'm just going to put the bottom part down, but I'm not going to press the top part until I pull the other piece off. I could have pulled out my, I have my 1/4 inch, but I think it was a little bit bigger. Oops, sorry. Knocked my camera over. It was a little bit bigger than the 1/4 inch. So, and I'm going to do this on all sides, but this tape right close to that edge. Okay, on this one I am going to use the 1/4 inch because there's only a little tiny bit. Then I'm going to go cut all my excess off. Okay. It's actually easy to rip that. All right. Okay, and I'm just going to take, because you do want to cover, to put this away, it keeps rolling around. All right, so you do want to cover, that one's good. This one needs extra. We'll put this piece on here. You do want it to be totally secured. Okay, so I have all my tape, and I'm going to start pulling it off. Okay, so this one I'm going to pull the underneath one off first. Then I'm going to press this top on, my overlap. And cut this, but that's okay. And take that one off. Then I'm just going to take the excess on this side and roll it up on there. There we go. So I'm only going to do one side at a time. So then this side, make sure the tape's on really good. Pull it off. Put this one on. This extra. So I have it fully covered. And I'm just going to go to my edges, roll up the extra, and then I'm going to do this side. And pull off the top one. Okay. Burnish the bottom one. Pull that one off. Okay, so I'm going to do the sides, these sides first. I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to stick it underneath here. Okay, and I'm going to just make sure that this is, the tape is gluing to the edge of the album. So I want to burnish that very good. Make that crease really nice. Okay, and then I'm just going to take my bone folder, push it over. Same thing here. Take my bone folder, start that, and then just, because it's a double layer thickness of chipboard, so I'm going to make sure it sticks to all of it. Okay, then I'm going to go on my bottom edge here, and I'm just going to make sure that there's any excess that I'm pushing it in. So that I end up with a nice corner. The same thing. Okay. And then I have some excess. I'm just going to cut this off, some excess double-sided tape. There we go. Okay. So that made very nice corners. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And then I'm just going to take my excess and push it up over the edge. There we go. And then this side. Same thing. Fold up that excess tape so that it goes in. Okay, and take off the edge. There we go. And make sure there's no overhang of tape. All right. So, once again, foam folder. Start to work that up. All right, just take the edge of it. And I can see that that works very nicely on the inside too. Seal that to the 2 layers of chipboard. Okay. Now the bottom, the back edge, side edge, whatever you want to call it. Okay, just going to go through and really burnish the whole thing. And once again, a very nice edge. So, this is what we have. Actually, it came out pretty good. Okay. Yep, came out nice and straight. So,